welcome back to the Ollie Garden podcast. If you haven't tuned in before, this channel is all about sharing our love of gardening, techniques, and getting inspiration from other peoples around the world who are gardening. My name is Kimberly Karver. I'm a teacher by trade, a gardener at heart, and also a garden-to-table cook. If you are a MasterChef fan, you can check out my season 14 with Gordon Ramsay on Hulu and learn about how I love to grow my own food so that I can bring it to the table at my house. Today I've got two beautiful people joining us, Nancy and Sam. So I'm going to turn it over and say hello to them and let them introduce themselves.
Hi there, Kimberly. I'm
Hello.
Nancy, a gardener at heart, also. Was a teacher. Let's see, we've been here maybe 17 years, so that's starting a new garden.
And when you say here, where is that?
Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, home of the Grand
Wow.
Canyon. Yes.
Yeah, Pennsylvania Grand Canyon, and we're very near the New York State border
Okay.
and the gateway to the Pennsylvania wilds. So there's a lot of open land around here.
Wow. And you have snow on the ground still?
Not
No,
quite. That
not
was
quite.
that was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Okay. Well, that's great.
We're almost going to put the snow shovels away.
Oh, that will be so nice. Get your hands in the dirt finally. I love that. Nancy, what did you teach?
Whoa, I taught art for a long time. I had other certificates, worked in elementary school, high school, taught adult ed, quite a variety of things that I got to do.
Nice. And Sam, you were a teacher also, I heard.
Yes, I've done many things. I've had about 14 jobs, but the last one was being an art teacher for 30 years.
Oh, and I see some artwork on the wall back there. Is this?
Those are her photographs.
Yeah, we do photography exhibits, and
That's
We
awesome.
did some writing for Outdoor Photographer a while back.
yeah,
Okay.
long while.
Excellent.
Yeah, so-
Excellent. So in your, what zone are you guys in then for gardening?
We're in the cold zone 5B, but it's
Okay.
spotty around here because on the hills it's a little warmer. We're down in a little valley, and so
Okay.
some of it is 6A.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. And so typically how long is your grow season?
May 31st.
Okay.
Is probably our usually last frost date. And it traditionally, it used to be that you would clean the garden off about the middle of September. But now, sometimes it can go to Thanksgiving, sometimes the middle Halloween. It's very variable.
It's gotten about a month longer if you don't have the hard frost or something in between. And they're sudden and short.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, pay attention.
if you can keep things alive, you can go
Right.
2-3 weeks longer.
And you are, you don't have a high tunnel. You're just, your garden bed's outdoors, correct?
With small tunnels over them. Each individual
Oh.
bed can have hoops and plastic. And right now, we have got winter lettuce and we've got little bitty spinaches and some onions and garlic has made an appearance this week.
Excellent. Okay. That's awesome. And Sam, you both, since you're both teachers, is that how you met?
No, we actually met in art class in college
Yeah.
at Penn
Oh.
State
Okay.
when she was 19.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's awesome. So you've been gardening together quite some time.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's
And
been
how many years do you think that's been?
50.
55, 56, give or take. 'Cause there was a little, when we first got married, there was a year we did traveling in the summer instead of gardening. And then
Yes, we took off for Alaska and
Okay.
sort of let the garden go
Yeah.
there for a year.
That's
But
awesome. How did you decide to get into gardening?
historically, when I was 8 years old, they put me to working for my grandmother's sister and my grandmother tending their garden, and often
Okay.
so that was a long time. And Nancy's parents had a garden.
Yes, I think if your parents have
Who-
gardens, you're more likely to. It's kind of daunting, I think, for people who have no experience with that, and so many people that we know really don't have access to either sun or land. It depends here because there's so much forest, which is a good thing, but cover can really influence what you
Right.
can do. So position is really important.
And in our experience, both our families had big freezers
Yes.
and cans, and so it's just sort of generational.
Yeah.
I love that. My dad would grow a huge garden, and one of his favorite things that he grew were big sunflowers. And my mom has all these pictures of me growing up next to the sunflowers. I mean, they were huge and little me, and that stuck with me. And he also was kind of inspired by his grandfather, who loved to grow tomatoes. Like, he was the best at growing tomatoes. So I never really, I'm sad about this. I never really participated much in the garden. I wish I did, but I was, the typical teenager on the move. And now that I'm older, I really do appreciate it. And I wish I would have learned more from my grandfather and my dad. But here we are now. And that's one reason I wanted to talk to you is, you mentioned that you learned how to, or your ancestors canned and froze things. Is that something that you both do also?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Since we keep lots of records, it's really not that much time because when we had two sons to raise and jobs, actually, you had to be careful with your amount of time. So we're all about what's the simplest, easiest way to do this. So maybe 2 Saturdays, sometimes 3 Saturdays a summer. That's just devoted to canning tomatoes.
Yeah, we grow lots and lots of tomatoes. They're our number one crop.
But then half of that crop gets put in the freezer directly, and it is so simple. You just wash the tomato, lay it on the cookie sheet, put it in the freezer. Next day, pop it into a bag the next day, and then it makes the best fresh tomato sauce.
We put about 12.
No boiling the skins off, and
No.
In fact, the way to go.
When you're ready to use it, you just take that little tomato out, put it under hot water, and that skin comes off easier than getting a kid into a winter coat. It just slips right off.
Oh, I love it.
and we're all about being efficient, so that skin goes into a stock bag in the freezer. Okay. And that, we throw vegetable peelings and the tomato skins because there's still, a lot of flavor around the skin.
And skins from fruit.
And fruit skins to make stock for soup. Right. And so it does not have to be a labor time intensive project.
Yes, I love to save the tomato skins, and then I'll freeze dry or dehydrate them and then grind them up. And then when I need to tomato paste on, for a recipe and I only need a tablespoon, just add some water and it kind of does the same thing. So when you're growing your own food, you definitely want to use every part of it because you've put your heart and soul into it. So I love that. And in today's generation, I do feel like there's a lot of waste and a lot of things thrown away that are useful. So this way of life is something I feel very passionate about in improving the way people look at food and how it's grown and how we can, I know that you make a lot of your own foods. Like, for example, I think different oatmeals you make every day?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We buy.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we buy 50 pounds of organic rolled oats at a time and keep it in storage in cool. Either we used to keep it in the freezer, but we don't really need to do that just so long as it's sealed. Okay. And we take out. I make granola about once a week from that, but also oatmeal every day. And we have a rotation of basically apple pie recipe.
Oh.
Make like you're making apple pie filling. with the oatmeal, or banana bread flavor, or date, walnut, and maple syrup.
Okay.
So we have a little series we go through.
I
Yes.
love that.
Just look at your favorite dessert recipe and look at the flavorings.
And make it oatmeal.
Because when you cook oatmeal, isn't it? It's not that much different than the crust on a pie.
That's true. Very true. Very true. Do you grow fruits and things on your property also?
We don't have a lot of room. We did raspberries for a while, but they tend to want to travel.
They travel.
They do.
Yeah, with the blue jays in particular, they're very fond of them. And my resident chipmunk, who, by the way, does a wonderful job of planting sunflower seeds.
Oh, how generous of him.
Yes, and for some reason, his sunflower seeds all germinate. About half the ones I buy germinate. So he's just got this talent. We don't agree on where he puts them, but I move them. And he was very fond of the berries as well. We do have some blueberries now, though. And we really, looking to the future, would just love to try step over apples, or maybe growing some apples, the French method, against a wall. Espalier. That would be something I just look forward to trying. And for my birthday, I'm getting a Meyer lemon tree. Does that count?
Oh, good luck, because those are hard where it's a little bit colder. So you'll have to bring it in and nurture it during the colder months. But Meyer lemons I love to make preserved lemons. That's one of my favorite things to use in cooking.
And they smell so good.
They do. They do. So besides tomatoes, what other things do you guys like to grow?
Butternut squash takes care of itself. We do several types of squash.
Okay.
Peppers and several varieties.
Summer squash.
Beans, different varieties of beans.
Okay.
Being so far north, and we have such a short growing season, and then we want to make use of our space and our beds. So we basically grow vertically everything that we can grow. For instance, that sunflower, every one of those beds, like I can see in the background, gets a sunflower, which we plant climbing nasturtiums and beans on.
Okay, kind of the Three Sisters method in a way.
Right, and then the rest of the beans in the row would be on a trellis. Even the squashes are trained up.
Our beds, if you ever get to see them, are small, and we go up. Right. Okay. So everything, the tomatoes are all on 8-foot stakes, and even the butternuts get trellised.
Wow. Do you have a problem with squash bugs or vine borers where you are?
Oh, yes. That
is like the bane of my existence. Do you have any tips on kind of combating them naturally?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Because you're right, they're the bane of the existence. Yeah. So, first of all, and I think it was Rodale back in Organic Gardening, they published a calendar of when those little critters come out. So you mark that on your calendar. You're going to start looking for them. Second thing, you can plant 2 sets to make sure the second set does not flower at the same time, because flowering and their emergence tends to be connected. Third, we have a garbage can, a new steel garbage can out there in which we keep a lot of things in the garden, so I don't have to go get them. And because I do a lot of photography in the garden, I have over, I think it's 5,000 pictures of sunflowers.
Oh, 40,000.
40,000 now.
She puts one up every day.
So I go out in the morning early to do the photography, but I'm keeping an eye out for one, if there's a dry edge on a leaf, then I start looking and thinking, there's somebody here I don't want. Or for the little rows of eggs. Okay, and in that steel garbage can is my bug kit, which contains the long-handled Q-tips with the little, like...
Should I get one?
Medical. Yeah, he'll get one, show you. And a jar of Vaseline. Very important.
Okay.
And you look in the flour, and if it's the little yellow striped bug, you dip your Q-tip in the Vaseline, and then you can catch that little guy. Now you need to do it early because they get very frisky when the sun comes up. But you get
These come in a pack. They're medical swabs, but they're
Okay.
6 inches long, and you pull them out, and they're Q-tip on one end.
Okay.
And so she dips it in the Vaseline and touches the bug, and there it is.
Okay,
And
so
then-
does it work
then-
with eggs too?
no, for that, the other thing in there is a roll of duct tape.
Okay.
And when I'm being very
show you.
efficient, I tear off lots of little duct tape pieces and stick them on the trellis, so I don't have to go back for the duct tape. But
Oh, smart. Okay.
and it'll stay sticky for like a couple of weeks, really sitting out in our environment. So don't worry about that too much. And then you just stick the sticky side, and those little eggs peel right off. Close the duct tape up and put it in the trash. So if you find them early, it's really very helpful. And when you know what to look for. And the other thing we've tried that seems to be working, we need a little more time to check on it, but we put black stuff. What is it? Biochar in the hole.
Biochar. Oh, when you plant.
When
Yeah,
we
and
plant.
diatomaceous earth, both in the hole.
And both of those soft-bodied insects do not like those things. So
Okay.
we're kind of thinking that the squash bug is somewhere near that's going to
Right.
crawl up there. And occasionally we do use wrap the stems with aluminum foil
I was
too.
just going to say, you take heavy duty aluminum foil, and as you plant it, you put that down in a little bit, and it's like a little, deer protection, only on a small scale.
Have you tried any of those things?
I've tried the foil, but actually when I wrapped it, I don't think I put it in the soil. So I need to put it in the soil.
Down an inch or two under, and then 2-3
Oh.
inches up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. And I knew of the diatomaceous earth. I'm currently in my, finishing up my master gardening class, and we just did a thing on squash bugs. And our teacher said that if you plant radishes around the base of your squash, the bugs don't like the smell. So I'm going to try that method this summer and see if that works too. I'm all about trying whatever, because I can
Yeah.
have a beautiful squash plant and then 2 days later it's dead. And
exactly.
that's so frustrating. So that's
We
one
do
of the hard parts.
Yes. So I'm going to try the radishes. I have
Okay,
a lot of radish seeds.
Okay.
We also plant marigolds
Okay.
and Elysium.
Okay.
And on every bed. And one of the things that we have found is that, those wonderful little bees that do all the pollinating, they are out before my tomatoes blossom. So what you want to do is get that map. Each little bee has a GPS in there, and we want him. So we plant Elysium at the base of every tomato, because Elysium blooms very early here and will continue to bloom until Thanksgiving,
Until it frosts.
until it frosts. So when the bees visit the Elysium, then they move right on to the tomatoes, which is kind of very useful. And the marigolds help to repel things too, but now I can add radishes to my bag.
Yes. Wait,
to my
when you
bag
say
of-
Elysium, are you talking about Elysium, the ground cover?
Yes, it's a plant. It's
Oh.
sold as bedding plants here, although we're
Yes.
now growing our own.
It's so, I just started a bunch by seed, and I'm so amazed. It's so easy to grow from seed.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm going to add that. So radishes, foil, diatomaceous earth, char, and Elysium. You say Elysium? Elysium.
Well, listen,
Elysium, or it's in northern Pennsylvania. You hear a lot of eyes and things. So
Oh, gotcha.
Elysium.
Okay, well,
I can spell it though.
if anyone's watching the podcast today, they just got a really quick lesson on squash bugs, which is a hot topic for a lot of gardeners. So that was really good.
Always
I
open
wanna-
to more. Always want more, because what works this year may not work next year.
That is very, very true. And what bugs we have this year, we might not have them next year. So let's
Right.
segue a little bit. And so I became connected with Ollie Gardens. My story might be similar to yours. My husband and I started off with wooden beds, and we were starting a new garden here in Tennessee, and they were falling apart very shortly after. And so we did research. We came across Ollie Gardens, and we were putting together our first bed, and my husband said, there's no way this has enough support in the middle, and I think we need to add stuff. And I was arguing and saying, no, we're following the directions. So we ended up calling the 800 number, and Steve, the owner, answered, had a great conversation, and that's how we got connected to Ollie Gardens, and how I've kind of become the ambassador. I think I have 69 raised beds, because I'm showcasing every shape, every color, how to use them, and using this garden as a learning tool to inspire others. But I wanted to hear, how did you get connected with Ollie Gardens?
Well, I do it actually.
So we had wooden beds.
Okay,
And if we got 5 years out of them, we were really lucky.
But if you ever see them, we have 19 wooden
But-
beds.
Okay, we had 19.
And it cost, the lumber now would cost about $1,000 to replace.
And there was a time element in this too, because remember I said we have to get our plants in Memorial Day.
Okay.
And the frost does not leave the ground here until like
Sometime in April.
late April or 1st of May. So then when I want to be planting and starting seeds and doing all that, we were having to repair beds.
Okay.
And so we decided that we needed to change our plan
Yeah.
on how we did it.
For a few years, I've been only taking out the worst part of the wood and putting a piece here and a piece there. And if they didn't fall over, I left it.
But then
But-
we had another problem.
Well,
The other problem,
what?
jumping
Oh,
worms.
yes.
Oh,
And they loved to get into the grain, the soft grain, and they would hang out in there.
oh. Can you?
That's-
Some
that's a
people might
soft
not
grain.
be familiar with what that is. Can you explain what that is?
Asian jumping worms, and there are no predators really here that they know of. And if you go and do the research, you'll find that they're pretty much in every state. And the problem is all that lovely compost and organic matter that I was putting in is an all they can eat buffet.
Oh.
And one of the things, we do a lot of mulching with maple leaves. Well, they loved that. And so in like,
Nancy, why are they negative for the garden? Are they? 'cause
well,
I
they strip.
I think worms, and I think worm
Yeah.
castings, and
Right.
organic matter.
Unfortunately, these worms strip every bit of organic nutrient out of the soil. And
Oh, wow.
and in the Midwest, it has destroyed whole forest industries, because once they strip the duff, it's called duff on the top where the leaves are broken down, it's a desert. You can't grow anything there.
Oh, wow.
So it was really, really, it's very depressing for gardeners here when they find out. We believe ours became infested because we were buying bedding plants. And in the north, most of the bedding plants are not grown, it's like maybe the middle of Pennsylvania and below, where there were previous infestations. And so it probably came in the soil on the plants, which of course I put in my garden thinking, oh, why waste that? And I put it in my compost. So it kind of came to a climax about 2 years ago when we started to put our garlic in, and we were hand picking these worms out. And we had 2 full 5-gallon buckets solid of worms from a 2 by 8 foot space.
Wow. So you just
The
said
eggs.
Yeah, they're not just like worms. They're reproduction factories.
Yes.
Oh,
Each worm contains 500 eggs.
So did you have to, when you got your Olive Garden bed set up, did you have to put all brand new soil in?
Yeah.
Well, we sifted it. We took
Okay.
it all out and put them in.
And the lovely people at Ollie
Yeah.
gave us some very nice potting soil to help us out.
From
Kellogg soil, correct?
Kellogg's.
But as gardeners, I know you think your soil is alive. It's like you spend a lot of time working with your compost. It takes a couple of years sometimes, depending on where you start, and so it can be very disheartening. Metal beds, we're thinking the worms don't like or will not
No.
eat the metal, hopefully. So between the cost of the wooden beds, the time involved in constantly replacing them, this looks like a really
Right.
good idea.
So
Nice.
I always go to the source rather than try to pick them up somewhere nearby.
Correct.
So a friend of ours who also bought beds from Steve,
Okay.
we saw his and I said, well, they look really nice. So I called up, same thing, got Steve. We talked 4 hours to Steve on the phone
He's a talker.
because it's so, the 19 beds are so involved.
Yes.
And he took the U-shaped kits and figured out how many and how we would take them apart and put them back together to make our 19 beds.
I love
Also, we're
And-
into landscape architecture. Okay.
So it
'Cause
has to,
he started out studying architecture. So
Okay.
we had designed with the wooden beds based on the design of our house, which is mid-century modern. So
Okay.
we took the shapes and we had laid out these beds, but then we had paving and gravel in between, and we didn't want to redo all that. So he helped us take the kits and redesign it to fit what we already had
nice.
laid out. Yeah, we so appreciated that. It is so nice when you find
Well,
people
we
who are
worked with
willing to work
Steve.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very passionate about getting backyard gardens going and helping people, that's for sure. I started with a total blank slate. I had lawn and I had to kill my lawn and tarp it and, start from scratch. And when I was getting the delivery of the beds, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. Like, how do I design this? And you're right. It does take a little bit of a designer eye to mix and match and do different shapes and make it fit with the style of your backyard and what your house looks like. But that's the best part about these beds is they can go into so many different configurations.
They
So,
can.
I love that.
Also, I think experienced gardening, we know that you have to move about between the beds.
Yes.
And you need to think about how far from the house or the water are you going to be carrying this to prepare, to
Yes.
take in. And, many of us have carts that we haul things in to dump in. So when you lay it out, you need to think about your pathways. Are they wide enough? Will it be easy to move? We have a little a very basic outdoor kitchen, that we like to eat outside. So we have a eating area. And I like to joke that I have all my salad beds, so that I can
Right there.
pick it, wash it, and put it on the table in one
Yes.
one move.
Yes, I just planted a whole bed yesterday, and I was telling, I like to do social media, and I said to my followers, I'm like, I'm planting my own salad buffet today. It's really pretty awesome. I love that. Well, let's end with, I want to know, since you've been gardening so long, and you obviously are very passionate about it and very thoughtful, from the artistry of it to doing it organically and all of that. So one of our missions at Ollie Gardens is to inspire others to jump into gardening. And what would you say, words of wisdom, if someone is brand new to gardening? Number one, what is probably, I'll narrow it down. What is one thing that is your favorite thing about gardening? Nancy and Sam, two separate ideas. It can be very simple. What's one of your greatest pleasures of gardening?
Getting up in the morning, very early.
Okay.
Or I'm not really a morning person, but as early as I'll get up, and going out into the garden and just, every time I find something I haven't seen before, a new butterfly or some flowers opening, and it's not the same color as the ones that we grew, it's just wonderful discovery. And then we put in a swing. Everybody needs a place to sit down with a cup of coffee or tea and just enjoy it. It is just, if you're open to it, it's just a delight every day. And you can't wait to get up and see what's out there.
And
Yes.
for me, it's the experimentation and trying new things. We have standard things we do, and then we try new things each year just to see.
I love that. Being teachers, where we have that lifelong learning bug that we want to keep our brains active and keep exploring, and I think gardening is that. I think two things you hit on that are important. It's a great place to mentally decompress, especially in a world of technology that is so fast paced. I don't know if you can hear right now, like the birds. I have cardinals right now, and they're singing to each other. Like, I love that too. I love starting my day or ending my day in the garden. And like you said, Sam, I have my favorite things I like to plant, but I want to try something new every time. And especially if they say, oh, you can't grow that in that zone. Oh, watch me. I'm going to try, I mean, that's the fun of gardening for sure.
Yes, there's so many, just reading the seed catalogs and the promises. And many times somebody has solved the problem before.
True. Very true.
So you just need to just look for it, because you'll discover it. We discovered something called mountain peppers. Oh. And lo and behold, because we never had our season long enough to get red peppers.
They're sort of a cross between a pointy hot pepper and a really round. They're sort of narrow, and then they slice up really nicely.
But guess what? They'll grow up here in the north.
Yeah.
And we just discovered it.
A short season, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to doing a follow-up with you guys, or a couple where you show me what you're planting and what's going on in the garden and really inspiring others. One quick question. Do you share any of your produce with your neighbors, or are you mostly preserving it for yourself?
Well, that's a really good question, because what our neighbors, we have wonderful neighbors who share. We all get really enthusiastic about starting way too many and way too early.
Okay.
So then, of course, you can't let it die. And then you've got these giant sequoia tomato plants, 6 feet tall. And so what we do here is you set them by the street with a free sign.
We have a place, I have to point this way with this hand, out by the road, and we just put free and people will stop and take the plants. And a woman even stopped back to thank us because they were so good.
And another woman was so grateful for the plants, and she said they were the best tomato plants she'd ever grown. And we have another neighbor who has so helped us with his knowledge on starting plants, and we trade plants.
We have garden buddies.
Yeah, you have garden buddies.
Jamin is one, and Scott around the corner is another one.
Yeah, and there's many B&Bs here. The lady has a nice spa in
B&B. And she has a few beds too.
And she's really into exotic plants. So, things that she brought back from Tibet or.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I think that's a great way to end this podcast, because we talked about, some nuts and bolts about bugs for one, and how you got into gardening and how it's a passion, a mental break, a way to engage your brain. And lastly, a really great way to kind of be a part of your community, to give back, to make friendships. And I think that gardening is just an amazing thing. And you guys are going to be starting what did you say this garden was? What number?
55.
55.
Garden number 55.
And
Well,
I should have brought the book. She has a gardening book that goes back to 76 or 7.
Oh, if you have you visited Jefferson's Monticello?
no, I have not.
Well, it's, one of my favorite spots that we visited.
Okay.
And when the first time I visited, they had a display of his garden journals, and I was so impressed. So we started one with
I
the first
love
garden,
that.
the first garden, and we I forget where I plant things. So
Yeah,
it
we
has
all
a,
do.
it has a map, and then we keep track of our produce that we take out, and our seed order inventory is there. And so, you just refer to that because there's so many things you forget. And then you say, oh, that's right. Last year I didn't do it that way. So, yeah, that's another fun thing, garden journaling.
Garden journaling. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. For everybody else, thank you so much for joining us today on the Ollie Garden Podcast. Hope we've inspired you to start a garden if you're brand new. If you're a returning gardener, hopefully you learned some tips today. And I just want to encourage you all to go out there and seed the day.